Thanks very much, Chris. Yes, this is a big game for both these teams following the result between Japan and New Zealand. Japan winning that game means this pool has been blown wide open. If Belgium can get a victory, all four teams will be on 3 points going into their last pool game. And just a reminder on the structure, the top of the pool goes straight into the quarterfinals. The second and third teams then cross over with the second and third teams in other pools to play off for the honour of playing in the quarterfinals. So much at stake in this game. Australia, if they can get a victory, they've got their big toe in the quarterfinals. Not surprising, there's plenty of support for Australia down below our commentary position. Jodie Kenny's parents standing up with her son Harrison. They brought him over here and they are the babysitters. There's plenty of support on the other side of the ground for Belgium too. And they've made plenty of noise in their game against New Zealand and are bound to do the same again today. We will pause now though for the national anthem of Australia. So that was the national anthem of Australia. Now we turn our attention to the national anthem of Belgium. That was La Bravacon, the revolutionary song that became the national anthem of Belgium. And it's going to take something special today for Belgium to get up over Australia. They're ranked 13 in the world, Australia ranked 5th. But that's what these tournaments are all about. We've had a few upsets already. Are we going to witness another? Take a look at the lineups for both teams. Rachel Lynch will start under the bar again for Australia. She's been pretty strong at the back. Jodie Kenny will be a key player. So too Georgina Morgan from penalty corners and also defensively. In the mid-shore, Steph Kershaw, I thought, had an outstanding game in their last match against Japan. And then up front, well, they've got plenty of firepower there. Rosie Malone, Emily Smith, Catherine Slattery and Grace Stewart celebrating her 50th cap for the Hockeyroos tonight. Turn our attention to the Belgian side, and Aisling de Heuger starts in goal. Again, a very accomplished goalkeeper. Pouvre, Van den Bore and Hillevaart will line up in the defence, and it's the midfield where you feel that Belgium are going to have to be strong. Nayland was superb in their last outing against New Zealand and will have to be again today. Versava was lively, and so too Jill Bone up front, and their captain, Anouk Ras, will be the other player that's going to have to try and beat Lynch in goal. So a final huddle for both teams. Belgium taking a little bit longer to finish theirs. Handshakes all around. Australia have already lined up in their side of the pitch. They're ready to get going. How important will Jodie Kenny's penalty corner drag flick be in this match? We'll have to wait and see. Morgan is another one, back from injury, a long time out. Just getting that form again. Aisling de Heuge, lovely big smile from her. Whistle goes, and Belgium push back and get us underway in what is a really important match for both these teams. Both of them playing their second game in Pool D, which was labelled the Pool of Death at the start of the tournament. I'm Ashley Morrison, and alongside me is the three-time Olympian and former England and Great Britain goalkeeper, Simon Mason. Simon, this is a really big game.
Well, thanks, Ashley, and we did indeed name this pool the Pool of Death, and that earlier result today has turned it into exactly that. Anything could happen. Australia, I don't think, finished particularly strongly in their first pool game. Belgium, on the other hand, the same against New Zealand, who really put on the afterburners in the late stages, so we'll see how that carries over.
Ball comes to Slattery, and she looks to mount an attack. Release to McMahon, who just knocked the ball ahead, but too far ahead to be able to keep that in play. Well, just to give you an idea of how big the task is, these two teams have only met 15 times, can you believe it or not, in international hockey. And Australia's won 11, and there have been 4 draws. Belgium have never beaten the Hockeyroos, so that is a big, big ask for them today. But that's what records like that are there for, to be broken.
Now, indeed, and this Belgian side have grown very much over the last 12-18 months, and they showed some confidence against New Zealand that we've not seen consistently before, and they delivered some fantastic interchanges, some good understanding as a team, and some confidence.
Renee Taylor now bursting through the midfield for the Hockeyroos, fires it in, slight deflection. I think it just caught the foot of Malone.
As it came to his direct line run, it's a lovely little pass off the right foot there and just touched onto her own foot for Malone.
Well, the other thing as well, Simon, is Adam Commins, who was the coach of the Hockeyroos at the Olympic Games, is now the technical director at Belgium, so he would know pretty much every one of these players extremely well, their weaknesses and their strengths, and I'm sure that he would have had a conversation with Niels Tyson about that.
Oh, absolutely, but for all of that knowledge, there is still an ingrained culture in Australia because of the depth, the history of the Hockeyroos side of that winning culture, and the Belgians have got to build that and buy into it over time, and it takes a long time to ingrain it.
Certainly this Belgian team is one that is growing in confidence. Paul Godoyne is the coach of Australia now, man who played in 3 World Cups himself. Kershaw now picks up the ball, looking to cut in field. She was double-teamed Nayland, working hard again, coming back. Edwina Bone now over the ball for Australia. Another player that's been out for a while with injury. Good to see her back. Jodie Kenny has been reported many a times having taken some time out to have a child who's sitting down below us. Unfortunately, her husband is back in Australia looking after business. He's a mechanic. So work still goes on for husband Shane, although I'm sure he's watching in his garage or at home tonight.
Well, the importance of those penalty corners will be obvious, but for me it's whether Aisling de Heuge in the Belgian goal can come into this game with some confidence. For me, she looked hesitant. She's a fantastic young goalkeeper who was a little bit back on her heels in the earlier pool game.
Well, that was smashed towards the circle by Alex Kernier. She's got a long corner for Belgium. Took a slight deflection on the way through. Leclerc comes forward to self-pass and a short little push. It wasn't the easiest of passes to connect for Russ, and Australia break forward. Must apologise for my voice. I got a little bit excited in the Belgium-New Zealand game. And it's just taken a little bit of a sting out of my voice, but hopefully this game is as exciting.
A good spin in defence as the pressure came on. Kershaw stepping forwards, little jab tackle to get the ball away.
The thing I'm liking about Belgium at the moment is when they're getting a free hit, they're looking to take it quickly, trying to turn Australia around. put them under immense pressure. Coming back and jumping out the way was Peters.
Well, against Australia, it is pointless being hesitant and pointless to a large extent being defensive, because all you do is invite pressure. Australia are quite happy to step out and press high.
Lovely turn from Brooke Peris. Good ball into the circle. She was looking for Stewart at the back post. Unfortunately, though, it was a little bit short and easily to be picked up in the defensive line by Belgium.
A really difficult pass that Perez gave, beautifully flat. As you're running at speed, if you try and deliver a slap pass as she did, you've got to get the ball right out in front of you to allow your feet to then catch up.
Bates now, short pass forward, finds Stewart, but just a heavy touch from her gives possession back to Belgium. Belgium, though, keeping calm and managing to play their way out of defence. Interesting, I thought, Simon, the comments by Niels Tyson. He felt that they were defeated in that game against New Zealand by 2 class finishes rather than a lack of concentration. And he felt that Australia will be a very similar team to play today. And so it will be the same instructions as he had for his players for this game as he had for that.
I'd agree to some extent the finishes were class, but in that first pool game, Mickelson and McLaren absolutely bossed the midfield for the second half. The earlier pool game today, when Japan defeated New Zealand, they didn't. And so for me, it's not about moments, it's about consistent performance from individuals. And Belgium are just going to have to make the most of a probably occasional attacking scrap.
Well, inside the D now are Belgium inching their way towards goal. Amber Church, the umpire, very quick on the whistle. Long corner is the best they could get. Good defensive work by Fitzpatrick. And there's just a little bit going on off the ball. That was Caitlin Nobbs and Anouk Ras. I think Caitlin Nobbs is a key player for Australia as well at the back, in that so calm on the ball and she carries out a defence well. And that was her there, just pushing it a little bit too far ahead of the run coming from Emily Hertz. Hertz plays on, though. Took a deflection, according to the umpire.
As the jab tackle away from the Belgian forward running back, Amber Church did brilliantly to see it, because it was the faintest of jabs.
Must have been I missed it. To the top of the circle, Peris. And she very nearly managed to turn. Still alive for Australia. Comes back to Brooke Peris. Peris down towards the corner flag. Crashes the ball in, but it's easily picked up by Kavanagh. Well, we've gone past the halfway stage of the first quarter. No real opportunities yet for either side.
Oh, Australia happy to step out so high. Struijk was moments ago for Belgium. Had absolutely nowhere to go. The difficulty of playing out of that press. You don't really want to turn and spin to your back line if you can help it, because you then invite the Australian press to step forward.
Picked up by Nayland, looking for the return pass. It was, well, Belgium stopped expecting a free hit, didn't come their way, and Australia say thank you very much, we'll have it and get on with things. Morgan goes the aerial route. Brought down well.
What a pass.
Slattery now on the baseline, looking to feed it back. Taylor will try and close down. Pressure applied illegally by Fitzpatrick.
Well, I'm pretty certain that the lineups we saw at the beginning of the game weren't accurate, because otherwise Australia are playing this with a four-man defence, only 2 in midfield, and a 4-player forward line. But they'll rotate through that front 6, they'll offset when they need to. But they just want to put lots of players forward.
And Nayland again, another good run from her, but well read in the middle of defence, and Australia looking to play it. Chrissy Bates now picks up. Always lively when she gets the ball. Exciting player from Victoria. Now it's Smith. Good pass coming from Slattery. Smith to the baseline. Long corner to Australia.
A free hit given, actually. They've taken it really quickly. It was right down on the baseline. They were allowed to get the ball in play. Belgium similarly thought it was a long corner, and suddenly the ball position was completely different.
So Australia with a high press. Did that go out of play? Yes, it did. So Bates plays on herself. Looks to smash the ball to the edge, as we see. There's Tyson, was it? Watching on and writing notes on his players. Heavy touch from Hertz. Looked like she may have won it back. Desperate defending coming in. Good work, good play coming from Van den Bora.
It's a super take in the end from Van den Bora, but Bone, if she'd see if she could have just got her feet round. There was a brilliant forward pass. Slattery had led into the circle. Great opportunity to get the ball away. She was desperately playing at it, just couldn't get the contact.
Well, Van den Bora playing a 102nd game for Belgium. She was only 16, Simon, at the last World Cup. Was the youngest player in 2014 in The Hague. So she's really grown in stature and also accumulated a century of caps. No real movement for Belgium, and so the smash towards the D was there, easily fielded by Nobbs. Now it's Slattery.
That's one of those really difficult moments for a player when they've got space in the midfield. They're looking for a forward pass. There was absolutely no lateral running for the centre midfield, and in doing so, the best option is sometimes to turn back towards your own goal, drop it deep and wide, and reset your attack.
Here come Australia again. Kershaw just plays it onto the foot. Free hit just outside the circle. Kershaw plays it back. She stays wide. Comes to her now. Going to fire it to the baseline and get the ball back to Fitzpatrick, but it's good defence again by Belgium, who've been very solid in this first quarter.
Try and get a bit of width, Belgium, in this press. You can't see it at the bottom of the screen, but while the ball is there at left defender, left half, they've had to go to the air because they've got absolutely no angles to pivot back along their own baseline. They shut it off with both fullbacks coming inside the Australian press.
Smith pulled wide, lifted it, oh dear, into the face of Louise Cavanet. But again, we see the toughness of these hockey players. Doesn't go down, it just jogs off.
What a takedown.
Brilliant by Smith. Smith plays on quickly. The deflection, top of the D, Peris on the reverse. Saved by De Hurger. Kept in play by Kershaw. And that was a clear foot and a penalty corner for Australia. I think almost a little bit lucky not to get a card, because to me that looked like the player deliberately put their foot there.
Oh, the backhand hit wasn't clean, it bobbled up. De Hurger could just play left hand, glove the ball down into the turf as it comes through. The top of the ball's been hit, so it bobbles and pops. De Hurger had to get back to her near post. There was actually a stick tackle on the Belgian player in the first instance, but it was an obvious foot off Pouvret in the end.
So Peris makes her way down to the baseline to inject for Australia. Jodie Kenny and Georgina Morgan wait at the top of the circle. Morgan goes to the second battery, it comes out, Smith stops. Kenny takes a tap, tries a hit, ricochets up off De Hurger, and she's saying that wasn't dangerous. Umpire Alison Keogh from Ireland, however, disagrees.
Well, we see the replay, it wasn't clean. Kenny couldn't get the ball away. I'm not sure about what the rule is in terms of danger to your own player. The umpire's signal was actually it hit the body, not that it was dangerous, but I'll invite our friends on social media to tell us.
Looked like it hit the body, but it comes out again. Smith stops better this time. Kenny straight into the first runner, and Anne-Sophie Vines has gone down and stayed down.
Don't know where the hit
savage
was.
Blow.
Oh, she's charged it straight down. She's got those knee protectors pushed down the front of her socks to give the knee cap-specific protection. So a long drag in, it's just underneath it, it's just above it, isn't it? As the leg bends, it's hit the top edge of the kneecap. Not convinced she's going to be sprinting off the line for the next one.
Well, now they're asking for the physio to come out and help her from the field of play. That's where hockey sticks come in handy as a walking stick.
Brave running Wenzel-Golf. It's just whether it's clipped the top edge of the kneecap or whether it's into the meat of the muscle. Top edge of the kneecap, obviously the bruising of the bone will be a bigger issue.
I'm pleased to see she's up on her feet though, hobbling off. Oh dear, and that's another mistake. Almost pounced on by Malone. Good work from Bates. Bates gets a free hit for Australia. They want to get on with things quickly. And Belgium, I think, thought they had played on, and that's why the ball was played. Good umpiring, though, by umpire Keogh, not issuing a card. Good initial block. Lovely turn from Hertz. Long corner for Australia. We're in the final minute and a half of the first quarter. No goals as yet. De Heuger has been the busier of the two keepers. Comes out wide. Kershaw was hanging out there, but it was directed directly to Michelle Struijk, and so it was a fairly easy collection for her.
Belgium need to keep some width in the back too. Oh, that's the ball you don't want to play. It just invites pressure. That's well done, but with three players in front of you, brilliant from Barbara Neylan.
That was sublime from Neylan. Absolutely superb. Into the circle it goes, and Lynch had to scurry. He's taking a deflection, so it will be another long corner.
Oh, here we see that ball hit in. It just comes off the instep of Kenny as it goes across. Lynch doesn't touch it, and Church right on the money.
Van der Meuren collects for Belgium. They would love a goal right at the death of the first quarter if they could get one. Deflects up off Malone's stick. It will be a free hit to Belgium. They're going to have to get on with it quickly. There's about 10 seconds left, and I'm not sure they're going to get it in there in time. Oh, that was a miss.
Not like that.
And there is the hooter for the end of the first quarter. It's been Australia doing most of the attacking, Belgium doing most of the defending, but Belgium have also looked dangerous when they've got forward. There's not much to choose between the two at the moment. And the umpires are totally in control. Well, there you go. Go Panthers, make us roar. The Red Panthers of Belgium. Plenty of support here for them. And at the moment, I think they've been chasing the Kangaroos a little bit nearer the defence than they have in attack.
I'd agree with you, Ashley, absolutely. The stats we have up here are that Belgium have had 59% of the possession, but most of that, you feel, has been in their defensive end, with Australia piling the pressure on.
Well, there's Niels Tyson just giving the instructions to his players. What does it look like he's saying, Simon?
Well, to me, it's exactly what we're talking about, is that the back four angles were wrong and they weren't able to transfer around the back. Ideally, if you've got a back four set up and you get the ball out to left half, you then want to play it to right defender, get your angles well good so you can have a 1-2 pass transfer, not 3 touches, which invites a press.
Australia again, first out for the start of the second quarter. They were first out at the beginning of the match. Slattery, is there a goal from her today? She scored in the 5-1 victory at the Hockey World League when there was a crossover match last year against Belgium. Rosie Malone has just started in the side and has been doing really well. Got an opening goal in her first match here at the World Cup against Japan. So Russ gets the second quarter underway. Thrown to the air, brought down by Jill Bone. Tries to get past Kershaw. Kershaw had a swing at the bouncing ball and hit the stick, so free hit Belgium. Good steal from Smith, feeds Malone, continues her run. Malone looks to the right, plays it behind Slattery to just check her run, which means Belgium got numbers back behind the ball before Slattery could advance towards the circle. McMahon. Good work by McMahon, driving towards the baseline, gets a long corner.
Well, that Slattery touch just moments ago, she was prime example of how forward with confidence, even though the ball was played badly, she just kept her running line towards the opponent's goal and received it over her shoulder rather than rolling out into a safe position. Just keeps that forward momentum.
Nayland brings that one down and goes on the attack again. Hernier just has to check back. Nayland in support. Strong chase from Kershaw. Nayland, though, evades her initially and then gets the pass away. It's a good one to Pouvre. And that was a brave challenge coming in from Renee Taylor. Certainly Barbara Nayland has continued where she left off in their opening game. She is in blistering form at the moment. Hernier does well. She stole possession, was then obstructed by Malone. Gets another free hit for Belgium.
Well, Malone with a great block in that left midfield channel. Just stepped across the running line of Hernier.
Fober's ball in. Had pace on it, but no one could deflect it towards goal. Barbara Nayland, it's interesting, Simon. She was saying, I saw in an interview, that when she went and moved to play for Orange and Red or Oranjesport, she wasn't ready for that. She said it actually set her back a little bit because she wasn't mature enough as a player to make that move into the Dutch league. Interesting comment to make, that she was too young and too immature.
Well, sometimes when you do that, there's so many distractions. There's the star spotting, because obviously the Netherlands being the world #1 side, there's so many players there that can lead you to not focus on your own hockey. And also if you're potentially moving away from home, lots of things that can influence your play and actually make you worse. But maybe if she felt that, then other phases with other clubs will help her develop.
I mean, obviously it shows a maturity to realise that as Australia come forward again. Malone, top of the D. De Hurger makes a save. This time it's not dangerous. Brought down by Smith. Smith being forced away from goal. Tries to get it in front. Kershaw. Well, she had 2 bites of the cherry and still couldn't get the shot past De Hurger.
Well, the ball comes in. It's chopped relatively flat. Good edge. And then De Hurger, that's where her body weight's a little bit backwards. I feel it's the same as the first pool game. She plays her foot forwards, but look, she's sinking back into her stance. Tries to lift the ball up.
Renee Taylor again thwarted at the top of the D, but illegally according to the umpire. Free hit taken quickly, comes back to Kennedy, slaps it into the circle. Deflection again in a long corner for Australia. Caitlin Nobbs receives the ball, plays it now out wide. First time from Eddie Bone. Picks out Malone, who just tried to play it into the turf and over the stick. And once more, Australia have a long corner.
Solid defensive play from Pouvre. She knew what was going to happen. As soon as the ball goes back into the attacker's stance, it allows them to get the stick face angle down on the ball to pop it forwards and get it to the air.
Looking to just cut in field there was Maddie Fitzpatrick. But again, we see good, solid defence from Belgium and Stephanie van den Bora. This is a really tight game at the moment. Just needs a goal, you think, just to give it that extra little bit of an edge. Just a reminder, if you've just tuned in, Japan beat New Zealand in their Pool D game this morning. And so what that means is that 3 teams are on 3 points at the moment. Belgium are the only one without a win. So if they get a victory over Australia today, all 4 teams will be on 3 points going into their last game in Pool D.
Well, van den Bora was trying to play the long ball forward to give the Red Panthers the opportunity. She chopped through it on the reverse, but it was a lovely little dink over to Sticks players in green and gold to create the opportunity first.
And of course, a victory for Australia would put them in a really good position to go straight through to the quarterfinals, although their last pool match is against arch rivals New Zealand.
Well, Lots of people have spoken about this new format, and the one thing is obviously that crossover game against the fact if you win the pool you don't have one changes things physically, and with this heat that's a massive, massive consideration.
Into the circle it goes. Good defence. Watching it onto the stick was Eddie Bone. Harris bursting forward, just stopped by Van der Meuren. And here comes Nellen again. Nayland running towards Kenny, forced wide, beats Bone well. Across it comes Lynch off her line brilliantly. And Australia don't panic and play their way out. Nayland again. This time she looks to crack it into the D, and it goes off the stick of Bone. Long corner Belgium.
Well, just moments ago we talked about Australia carrying position in the circle to pop the ball into turf. Lovely little example of it there from Nayland as it comes in, and then Lynch sliding out on the right leg, left leg extended.
Just a heavy touch coming from Struijk. Couldn't keep it in play. It was disappointing. You could see how frustrated she was with herself. Kershaw looking to make a break on her own. Decision goes against her. Off her foot is the call. Nayland says, I'll go. Plays it infield. Help first time by Struijk. Just a little bit too far, though, behind her teammate in Emma Pouvret. Bates was looking up, and just for a second, in came Belgium, stole it back off her. Van der Meuren, good pass, and there's a tumble.
So close in the exchange, and Sophie Vaines had led out to the right-hand side, desperately trying to get the ball that was just floated back off a reverse push.
Bates again finds Stewart playing her 50th game. Pouvret dispossesses. Strong from Kenny. Kenny just checks back. Struijk getting involved in plenty at the moment for Belgium. It's not past Sophie Limoges. And then just covering across was Hillevert. And Hertz, the player, penalised.
I don't know how she can look confused. There are two players static in the same place.
I don't know how umpires call that one when neither player is moved.
Well, the letter of the law, to be really boring, the letter of the law is because there are two players static at the point of descent. The free hit should be given where the ball is raised against the person who raises it.
Well, we didn't see that happen.
No, I don't think you ever will at any point across the world. A long time ago, when I used to lift it up and volley it from 16s, I learned that because an umpire gave a penalty corner against me.
Cracked in again from Belgium, and they've got themselves another long corner. Are they going to sneak a goal? Just under 6.5 minutes left in the first half. Not like that, they won't.
No, and that's when you've got absolutely no forward width. On free hits, the Belgians have been starting very narrow and looking to then spring out, making the man-to-man marking very difficult in the circle. But in that instance, there was no width at all.
Ball just coming up and touching Slattery on the shoulder. Maddie Fitzpatrick. And again, Belgium just pushing higher up the pitch, just trying to restrict Australia playing out from the back. Slattery again, getting a body in a good position, but the free hit was taken from the wrong spot by Kalindi Comerford. McMahon lifts it over the top. Brought down well by Hertz. And a penalty corner conceded for what is sometimes phrased a professional foul.
Yeah, that's just ugly is another word for it, as Hertz is carrying the ball. Van den Bora just missing it completely, clattering a stick.
Well, coming into today, Australia had scored 2 penalty corners from 4 attempts. This is their 3rd attempt today, and so far they've yet to get a goal. Will this be the moment? Maddie Fitzpatrick has made her way forward. So too alongside her, Georgina Morgan. Kenny in the side, both of them hardly ever get a look in. Paris injects, comes to Morgan. Morgan sweeps it low. They were looking for the deflection of Slattery, but it was just too fast for her to get the deflection.
It's clean out to the top from that running injection. Stop clean as a slider out. Slattery does get a touch, but not enough. You would feel that the defensive unit, the goalkeeper and the post player, were in the right place anyway to deny it if it had been on goal. There we see Australia with 5 shots to Belgium's none. For all the possession that Belgium have had, the stats up here in the box telling us that they've had 55% of possession. They've only had 4 circle entries to Australia's 11.
Well, that was another good tackle from Van den Bora. Although we were criticising it for the ugly one before, that was perfectly timed. Started playing hockey, age 10, and was voted the best defender in Belgium in 2017. Comerford under pressure, has to go back.
Lovely first time ball.
Super pass, and there's space for Brooke Paris down the left-hand side. Good call on the baseline from Smith. And that will be another penalty corner, made easier when Van den Bora went onto her knees.
Well, Van den Bora felt that the first hit in was high. It was, in real time, it was too quick to see what the high was, but Van den Bora had gone so low. It's a lovely little ball into baseline. Then the slap across is in the middle, was that front edge of knee. But with the player bending down, never going to be given as dangerous.
So 4th penalty corner, and Jodie Kenny has come forward once more. Paris waits at the baseline, Morgan at the second battery. Kenny at the first, and alongside her is Fitzpatrick. Will they just slip it to Fitzpatrick? They shift to the right-hand side. It's a poor injection, comes to Smith. She looks to feed it to Kenny. Stolen by Belgium, they can attack quickly. Unfortunately, stumble there, but Leclerc picks it up. Goes inside Smith. That's the ball that needed to come. Lifted high and into Renee Taylor. So Australia really were lucky to get away with that one.
Leclerc and Rass in the shot just then, having a little bit of a chat with each other harshly. Rass saying, "Oh, why did you try and go cross field? That's where the defenders are." And I've got to say, I agree. Space down the line.
And that was excellent defending from Foba. Had to get there because Emily Smith was ghosting in at the back post.
Good space.
Yes. Well played, Alex Grenier.
I think Carrie McMahon knew that she was beaten for pace, but was just going to slightly lean across the running line and use her reach and her levers to get something close to the ball.
As I mentioned at the start of this match, Belgium has yet to beat Australia in international hockey. So at the moment, at 0-0, I'm sure they would be very happy going in at half-time. Free hit, they may even go in ahead if Jill Bone has anything to do with it. Good steal again by Taylor, off the stick of Bone. And Kershaw just plays it into the foot of Van der Meerden.
Kenny now just taking a little bit of sting out of it. That's good game control. Just with a static back three, able to just hold the ball in these latter exchanges. You don't want to force play unless you really have to. Recycle it. They've had relatively comfortable possession.
Another heavy touch there. Just taking it over the side. In the final 2 minutes of the first half. No goals as yet. Australia have been knocking, but De Heuger has not let them in so far. Well, Smith is going to chase that, but she's not going to keep it in play. For a second, it looked as if she might, because we have seen a lot of the balls here just slowing up on the turf.
Well, they're having to water it so much because of the heat, just to make sure the water stays in and the ball runs true. Occasionally, if the clouds come over as they have, it just stays on the surface a little more and holds the ball up.
Kenny, lovely little shimmy from her in the midfield. Slattery holding the ball up well, almost fell over the stick. Desperation, good work again coming from Taylor. It just lifted it.
Just come up into her from outside the
Well, did hit a foot in the circle. Eileen Phobos' foot as the ball was crashed in, but it was considered to be high and dangerous.
Well, that's, again, a risky pass.
Oh.
Well played by Hillevert. Well, this is a Belgian team certainly growing in confidence if they can play out of defence like that. And that's a super pass as well. Cutting infield, the defender. Desperation from Kenny. And Van der Meren again causing a few problems, but taking a blow on the ankle as well.
Oh, how did Kenny get to that? She'd been turned on the spot and then went to ground once and then somehow managed to reach even further just to knock the ball away.
Can I tell you? It's those long levers you're always talking about. She has long arms and managed to just stretch them out and just poke the ball away.
And here we see it, so Kenny misses it once, and then there's the extension, great awareness of where the ball was trying to go. Van der Meerden's trying to just get beyond that reverse stick.
Perez on the halfway line. Again, there's just a swarm of red shirts around the gold of Renee Taylor. And she cracked that one forward, and it's caught Pauline Leclerc a nasty blow, and she's going to hobble off. She'll be pleased half-time has come. Niels Tyson, well, what does he think? I'm sure he'd be pretty pleased with the performance of his team. High fives from the Australian players. They haven't really been troubled defensively, but at the moment they've been failing to convert the opportunities they've created in the forward zone. So we go in at half-time. It is Australia 0, Belgium 0.
absolutely am. A relatively even first half. What's going to give you the edge that you need, Niels?
Yeah, Australia is a super strong pressing team, and we struggle a bit with that. We have difficulties to find the other side of the pitch, trying to find the space we actually want to play to. So we're going to try to change a few things there. And in our pressure, we want to be a bit more contact and try to win a bit more balls, because I think we are a bit outplayed a little bit on their half, let's say, and that we're going to make sure that we do that a little bit better.
Thanks so much.
Thanks very much, Krista. Well, let's see if the Belgian side can follow their coach's instructions. Second half about to get underway. Australia waiting over the ball. Rosie Malone moving her feet to the beat. Whistle goes and we're underway in the third quarter. Who can find a winner in this match? Good first time pass from Kershaw. Finds McMahon. McMahon continues her run, and that was a good ball round the back, but Smith just a little bit on her heels. Niels Tyson pretty much said what you were saying, Simon, that they need to use the width a little bit more.
Indeed, it was all just a little bit direct. It was narrow in that first half, particularly on free hits. I can see what they're trying to do when they set up. They put 5 players down the middle of the pitch. It makes it really hard to man-to-man mark shoulder to shoulder. But it means they had no width. They had so little going around the flanks, and they need to try and create that.
The first time these two teams ever met was way back in 1930. A 3-test series which Australia won 3-0, and the very first test was a 4-1 victory, and Mary Blore scored all 4 goals for Australia. At the moment, we could do with a goal. Sure, Australia would like a goal as well. We saw the table in the half-time break. But the way it stands at the moment, they would go to 4 points and be still top of the ladder with New Zealand to play. But just the reminder that only the top of the pool goes directly through to the quarterfinals.
The thing that Belgium need to be careful of more than anything is feeding a ball into centre half that we've seen 3 times so far in the first half, and each time actually you and I have drawn breath and curled up looking at 3 gold shirts swarming down into that central midfield. It's so high risk. It's the traditional press that Australia play to all the time, and Belgium need to make sure they don't fall foul of it.
Pouvre brings it down, and that was, oh, you could see who she was looking to try and play it to. Didn't come off, though. Morgan. Able to carry it forward. Good pass, finds Taylor. Taylor closed down, though, and gets the decision from the umpire. Jodie Kenny makes her way forward, goes out to Morgan on the left-hand side. Quick distribution from there, fired into the D. Good defence again, good covering across from Taylor, stopping a counter-attack from Belgium.
Pernier stepping across the top of the circle very well, was out on the left-hand side, had to time her run and take at sprint pace. Often you see the ball and you step in from behind the opponent, but in doing so you overrun it. If you don't get a really clean touch, you just tee it up for the forward.
Taylor getting plenty of touches at the start of this second half. Now it's Kershaw. A little bit of space for her to run in. She loves to run with the ball at the end of her stick. She's done really well, then just stopped at the edge of the circle. Good defence again, coming this time from Van den Bora.
Oh, showing how balanced as a defender you need to be. Van den Bora didn't move. She didn't fall for the ball movement, which just takes your lower body away from where it needs to be. She held the direct line to goal. She knew the danger point and therefore looked like she had so much time when she actually made the tackle.
Oliver looking up as she received that ball for options and cracks it forward. And it will be Peters who doesn't get the decision, much to her own surprise. Peris coming back, doing well.
Peris a little bit fortunate because the interception on the overhead from Belgium was absolutely brilliant. Read perfectly by Cavanagh.
Here comes Paris now. Short little pass infield to Malone. Malone into the circle, back to Paris. Looking to find Smith on the baseline. Good defensive play, though, coming from Van der Meuren.
Oh, the interception. Malone, eyes up as she runs. Little dink under the arm. Lovely open-handed ball. Paris was going for far post, which I think was the right choice.
Slattery, well, she almost squeezed the ball into the path of Malone, unintentionally, as Nayland comes forward again. Stopped in her tracks by Steph Kershaw. Smith applying pressure defensively, working hard for her team.
We see the ball that just pops underneath Slattery's feet. There's impact in the circle. Slattery wasn't able to carry it through. Hilevert coming away in the end with a bit of a knock.
Oh, that's a strange one. I thought that came up off the Australian stick, hit the Van der Meuren above the knee, but the decision goes Australia's way.
Nice little leave in midfield.
Kershaw now again accelerating into the circle. And it's apex. Free hit won by her. Paris has to go 5 metres. And I don't think that the Belgian player was 5 metres then.
Manu Grass, I'm pretty certain, was nowhere near 5. I'm surprised that wasn't a bigger blow on the whistle from Church.
Here come Australia again. Good tackle, well timed from Limoges. She's gone quiet around the stadium. Fitzpatrick over the ball. Hertz is followed all the way by Cavanagh in there. Fitzpatrick, though, wasn't and managed to get away from Peters momentarily.
It's a good job that Cavanagh missed her first touch, because if she'd taken it into Peters, Peters had run past when the free hit was taken, was only, what, 2 metres away? Penalty corner in all over it.
Good work again inside the circle coming from Peters. 2 Australian players, and the stick comes off Hertz's, so it will be. Didn't quite see what happened there. Peters, I think she might have stepped on the ball.
Well, Australia have turned up the possession, turned up the press. They're at 62% possession for this third quarter.
Oh, Nayland again steals possession and releases a great pass. Here come Belgium, just too far ahead, though, of the run from Van der Meuren.
Pouvre sees the ball and she knows what she's trying to do as she steps in and slides it through. It's fractionally too big. Great vision, understanding of trying to get it in there. Oh, there's one for the blooper reel.
Jodie Kenny at the back and Emily Smith at the front. Just 2 of the players in the team from Australia, the only 2 with over 200 appearances. 21 players from Australia have played over 200 games, and there's only been 2 play over 300, Madonna Blythe and Nikki Hudson. So an August company, but they need their leadership now at the back and at the front. Need to call on that experience to get them across the line against a really resilient Belgian team. Tricky pass. Did well with it, though, did Strike. Again, good width from Belgium here as they come forward once more. Round the back of Kenny, she just gets a stick on it. Long corner.
Oh, that's a much better build-up from Belgium, because that carry position along the baseline, you've only got to get the defender to get their timing fractionally wrong, and then it's a stick tackle in a corner. So much better to build up through that space.
Pulling wide now is Leclerc. Kernier decides to go herself, surrounded by gold shirts, and Bates comes up with the ball for Australia. Looks to feed it forward to Malone. 2 of the new young faces in the Hockeyroos side. Another good pass, this time picks out Versaville. She's had a quiet first half, but is a very dangerous player when given the ball. Kavanagh over the ball. It's just inside the 22, so can't be smashed directly into the deep. So they come back to halfway. Brandon Bora carries it forward, plays it out wide onto the flank. Stroik looks to cut infield. Stroik still going, manages to evade 2 challenges and then gives a rather tricky pass back to Vasavel. Vasavel, though, does well. Stewart comes now to help out. Vasavel did well with the pass through the legs. And Kenny had to be alert to stop that one hitting her.
I knew Grass, it was almost like she just got bored and therefore took the ball to back foot. And she does so, just takes it away, squeezes it into the turf. That's an almost impossible ball to hit into the circle.
Great work by Brooke Perez. Even better work, though, to steal possession back for Belgium. Coming from Stroik. Hurts, though, plays it into Kavanagh. Free hit taken quickly by Eddie Bone. And that will go harmlessly out of play. Well, certainly both these teams, as we go into the last 4.5 minutes of the third quarter, really looking for a winner. Paul Godoyne down on the bench, talking to his replacement players, giving them instructions, especially Jodie Kenny. I'm just watching her run down the side. Just wonder whether she's a little bit stiff or something. She's put the bib on. Stolen by Australia. Hurts about to go into deep. Bump there and a penalty corner given. Careless from Louise Kavanagh.
Well, there's absolutely no question. Up in the commentary box, I was starting to split the double-handed signal into one hand up and one hand forwards, because is that a hit in the circle that could be considered a penalty stroke? Kavanagh, it's clumsy. Actually, it's the feet that just get caught up in the first instance. It wasn't body to body, so.
I saw you getting very excited about a penalty stroke, but I think it was more clumsy than calculated.
Yeah, it was. I thought originally that the player going down had been pushed in the back, which is why I felt it.
So no Kenny on the pitch. Comes out Morgan. Oh, De Huga saves and gives herself a little fist bump inside her mitt.
It's a well-injected corner this time. It's a clean injection drag, but it's this savable height for the goalkeeper. That's nowhere near enough towards the corner. That's absolutely bread and butter.
Again, it's a well-executed penalty corner. If you watch the FIH show Inside the D, Gonzalo Payat was explaining how he executes it and likes to collect the ball behind him, which is exactly what Georgina Morgan did.
Well, the execution of the close skill was fine. The issue is that you've got to pick those boxes, what, 12 inches inside each of the corners of the goal if you are really going to stand a chance of beating an international keeper. That's right in the height. If you understand where the hands are in relation to the body, 3/4 of the way up, then just going sideways was exactly where the ball was.
A green card just been issued to one of the Australians. Is it? Can't see because all the substitutes are in the way. Looks like Brooke Perez sitting down there to me. So 2 minutes, Australia will be down to 10 players. Can Belgium take advantage? Oh, that's a wasteful pass. Is someone going to break the deadlock? We haven't had a scoreless game so far in this Vitality 2018 Women's Hockey World Cup.
Well, Australia need to turn their circle entries into something. So far during this game, they've had 18 circle entries.
Here come Belgium again. Onto the reverse. Can she get the shot away? She can. Lynch was at a good height. Bone, though. Lynch again, well placed to deflect it over the baseline.
Well, it was Jill Bone in that New Zealand game who picked up the ball, drove into the circle and volleyed it between Rutherford's legs for the nutmeg. Didn't quite manage it that time.
Van der Meren with the first shot, Jill Bone with the second. And here comes Kershaw again. Australia looking to counter-attack quickly, but It's taking a deflection. It'll be another long corner, I think.
So here we see that backhand shot. Body weight falling away, so it lifts it slightly. It's taken down by Lynch. Second phase, Boone on the volley. Tries to put it inside that left post.
Well, Malone very nearly getting a shot away there. McMahon goes back to Morgan.
Middle left, girls!
Kenny absolutely drilled that in. And again, Australia with bodies inside the circle. It was Comerford that was there, but just couldn't get the control she wanted.
Well, drops hands to create a short handle hit. Still develops so much power because of her strength. Well, we haven't said it yet, but occasionally you need to just resort to it. See some space, crash ball in, see what happens.
So the final 30 seconds, it is going to go all the way down to the wire, this game. Belgium just need to keep possession for these final 20 seconds. They've gone out of play. Australia urging them on the bench, yelling for them to get play quickly. Pass round the back from Kershaw. In it goes, and Smith just falling down. It was almost a superb pass coming in from Maddie Fitzpatrick. Well, that is how close it is been for one team to take the lead. Just a matter of inches, but it is still neither team able to break the deadlock in this Pool D game. Aisling de Heuge with a sharp save from a penalty corner to deny Georgina Morgan. Means it's Australia 0, Belgium 0 as we go into the final break. Well, Niels Tyson, would he have been happy with that performance, Simon?
I think he'd been happier. Certainly it was less risky at times. He created a little bit more width. And for me now, this is all about telling them to believe in themselves.
Here's the penalty corner. This was the sharp save. You said good height, but she still had to get across.
Oh, absolutely, but it's readable for a goalkeeper of her quality. And you don't really have to dive down to get to the bottom corner or up. There's no real explosion up or down. You can just afford to go sideways.
And this was a great chance for Belgium to take the lead. A really good run from Van der Meren. Lynch well placed, paddles it away, came back to Bone, but Lynch again had recovered and taken up a good position.
Yeah, she was able to stay on her feet. She got a good left hand to this and parried it away. Exactly correct, getting a lot of power behind it, and then nice and balanced to knee Jill Bone's shot.
Well, we're going to go pitch side now because Krista Cullen has Paul Godoyne with her.
I do, and it's been end-to-end stuff, sort of various different attempts at goal. How are you going to get the edge in this last quarter?
Yeah, I think we just need to stay composed. You know, we're making some chances. It's composure, clinical with our skill execution now.
Perfect, thanks, Paul.
It's probably a fair comment. They've had plenty of opportunities. It's just that composure in front of goal. But I'd also say some of it is that final pass, Simon. They've just not really given a clinical one inside the deep. Push
yeah,
back.
Sorry, actually, it's just not been. It's not the fluidity that we like to see when they're playing well from Australia. It's just fallen, what, half a metre short at times.
Saville carries forward 4 Australian players chasing him. Malone comes up with the ball. She was the player dispossessed by Saville initially. Kershaw just kicks it forward. Well, is there a match winner in this game? Belgium were at the last World Cup and they finished in last place there. But it had been a period of 23 years before they'd actually been at a World Cup, so that was a big one. But they look to do a little bit better this time around, and another card is going to be issued, this time to Comerford.
Well, not 5 yards away from the hit, putting a tackle in fractionally early.
Australia now looking to play out from defence, goes to Morgan. Bone helps it forward. Good works from Grace Stewart, playing in her 50th Test match. She would love a goal just to seal a memorable day. Comerford sitting there.
That's a brave aerial over the top on that angle. It had to go a long, long way. 40-yard carry.
Oh, my word, that was hit.
No, same thing.
Kavanagh
I've stopped time.
into Kershaw.
You okay?
And
Down
the
here.
umpires
It's the same as last
claimed
one
that
over
that
there.
was dangerous
But
by
that's-
Kavanagh.
Was it lifted?
Yes. And they're waiting for
It
me
looked
to.
worse than it was because it hit the toe of the shoe to lift it up further.
Harsh, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Oh, and a mistake by Morgan. Great pounce by Bone. Bone looking to cut inside Morgan. Morgan recovered well. Has conceded a free hit, but really snuffed out any danger.
I think a game like this actually raised some really interesting tactical questions. Australia make the assumption that they'll just want to win this flat out and think they should and could. Belgium, though, if we get to the last 3 or 4 minutes, it's a draw. Will they go all out for the win, or will they just try and manage it down because they would perceive a point is enough when they go into that last pool game, because then a clear win and they're through into the playoffs.
Nayland has been kept quiet in the second half as Peris back on after her indiscretion. Gets some space to run. Good run ahead from Kershaw. She feeds it to McMahon, who'll play it into the space for Kershaw. Kershaw looks to cut infield, keeps possession, looks to little pop the ball, gets a free hit outside the circle. Bates pushes it forward. Kershaw plays on immediately. Stepping forward with Stroik, it caught her foot. Another free hit to Australia. McMahon just lifting it slightly into the deep. Save from De Herger, and Smith's shot was saved. Well, no appeals from Belgium. I thought that was lifted.
It came off the foot. The ball in there was perceived not to be dangerous because it had dropped by the time it reached the players. It's through a channel, so it's down the floor. That's a lovely little touch onto goal. Nailing De Herger, big left pad.
So Australia with their 6th penalty corner. Just under 12 minutes left in the match. Brooke Peris makes her way down. Jodie Kenny waits at the first battery. Georgina Morgan at the second. Bates and Smith doing the stopping. They crouch down. Bates stops. Kenny takes a touch, drills it low. Not cleared initially by Belgium, but eventually it is. Rass gives it to Stroik. They've got numbers forward. Belgium just need to push it forward. Nayland made a good run. Stroik is going to have to go back to Rass.
Bone had made a stunning run into the circle unmarked as the Australians had to flood the ball carrier Rass.
Rass plays it in, but Kenny is back to clean up at the back. Rass steals it back brilliantly. Rass into the circle, looking for a foot, got past Kenny, and it's swept clear over the side by Nobbs.
Well, Belgium definitely, even if they're trying to manage the game down, still have to keep going forwards. The last thing you want to do is sit on the ball in your back division and allow the Australian shirts to come forwards to you. Here we see a replay again of that corner in. It's the first touch to slap, very clever, across the #1 runner to create the space. Then the execution poor, the angle's wrong.
Great pass initially from Peris, and it was a good one from Fitzpatrick, looking for the run of Hertz.
Oh, Hertz should have done better. That's a fantastic ball in. Down the right side, look at Hertz cutting across. The person in the picture there, that has to be touched. You've got to commit to that harder. Defender, you could see the body language of the defender, eyes up in the air, knowing that she's got away with that.
Well, Hertz is now going to have a little spell on the side. Was that a yellow card? I don't know, was it green? It looked to me it was yellow, but we'll check that in a minute. In fact, yes, it's confirmed on the announcer that it is a yellow card. So 5 minutes off the pitch for Hertz now. Australia down to 10 as Smith breaks forward and played it square and far too far ahead of Renee Taylor.
Now calm heads for Belgium. They need to work the width. They need to get the ball to space.
Well, they've done that with Hilliver. Hilliver looking to just knock it forward, gets through the challenge of Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick comes back well, though. Then there's Peris. Peris, though, stops and gets the ball away from Belgium. But Peris, a very clever player, using her brains well there. Smith now helps it forward, finds Kershaw. Kershaw turns straight into the challenge of Van den Bora. Smith now looking to cut infield, surrounded by red shirts. That looked like a back stick to me off Hillevert. Kershaw. Well, again, making the run down the side, and Hillevert just standing in the way. Fitzpatrick to Peris. Peris loves to go on those mazy little runs.
Peris causing all sorts of trouble. Happy to go all the way back to her own goal line and then burst through the midfield with some fantastic individual skill. Belgium still with a wide back four, however, so they've got some good angles to outlet.
A lot of responsibility on Brooke Peris without the likes of Gabby Nance and Jane Claxton in the midfield. And to me, she's growing in every game, showing her experience and stepping up.
Still in, still in, still in.
Oh,
Kershaw dispossessed. Sorry, Simon. Just one back again, though, by Renee Taylor, and here's a chance for Australia. It's all beginning to open up a little bit now as tired legs and tired minds.
That's exactly what Belgium do not want. You don't want to be playing end-to-end against the Australians. You want to be compact. That's got into the circle. Surely. Got away with it.
They're playing on, and Belgium coming forward. They've got numbers if they can pass. That was clever from Van den Bora. There wasn't much on for her. Kernier has decided to leave it. She's going, I'm too tired, you take it. Foba launches it high out onto the right-hand side. Quick early ball to the edge of the circle. Good defensive play coming from Fitzpatrick. Moj trying to find a way through. It's desperation, and the free hit goes Australia's way. Halfway through the final quarter, still 0-0 in this match in Pool D. The penultimate game, Kershaw goes one way, then spins back, goes the other, creates space for herself. Bates. Short little pass, it's intercepted though, but not fairly according to the umpire. Hillevert, the player, penalised.
Leon Hillevert knowing that she just had to roll out of there. She's the smallest of kicks.
Good play from Comerford to evade that challenge. Finds Peris inside the D. Just clipped the toe of her shoe. I was about to say Peris has the chance to round off a great performance, but unfortunately, the toe got in the way.
Oh, that's close to a dragged foot in front of the Belgian crowd, who suggested that they'd seen it. Neither umpire did, however. It's just as a player moves away occasionally, you just drag that trail foot a little bit to get the ball contact.
Again, just taken down in the air, and a chance to come forward now for Ras. Ras feeds it to Nayland. Nayland, the Nijinsky of the midfield, lays it forward. Brilliant! Rachel Lynch coming out and stopping what looked a certain goal.
Oh, what a move through midfield.
And here come Australia now, Kershaw. Oh, no advantage. It looked like an advantage as Kershaw was breaking forward.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. 3 yards, fine.
Here we see this counter-attack. It was a lovely little ball, then a beautiful dink around the defender, one-handed in towards Lynch. Australia a little bit lucky. Watch the rebound off Lynch, hits the stick of the trailing defender there, just out of shot. Anything on the body, and Belgium would have had their first corner of the game.
They only had one penalty corner in their match against New Zealand, so it's not Belgium's tactic to go for penalty corners. Nayland again, weaving her way through. She just pirouettes her way up the pitch.
That's just brilliant.
Bone fires it in front of goal. Morgan, good defence, had to be there.
Well, actually, you look at how Japan, as we see the replay out to the right, it's a lovely little right foot cross, had to be deflected.
Well, that was too obvious, and now Australia are running back, and Belgium are looking tired coming back as Peris picks up. She'll keep running. The two number threes going. Kavanagh pushed there. Peris played it in. Good defence, though, coming back from Foba.
Oh, Kavanagh was so lucky. There was a huge shove in the back on Peris prior to her connecting with it. Then good defending inside.
Kavanagh very lucky, I think, because she got away with the last one and she's got away with this one.
The last thing, I've said it 3 times now, Belgium just don't want to be committing players full on towards the Australian defence without a decent midfield defensive structure behind it. Australia have still got, I think, dominant physicality in these later exchanges.
Well, the best Belgium have ever managed is draws against Australia. There have been 4 of them in their 15 meetings. Surely they can't sneak a victory now. We're in the final 4 minutes of the match. Belgium on the attack. Bone taking on Kenny. Bone still keeps possession. So Belgium again trying to just find a crack in that defence of Australia. Well, Simon is thinking hard about his vitality player of the match as Nayland again, who I think should be a contender, was dispossessed. Brilliantly timed tackle from Renee Taylor. I think we're going to see another card. Bone is going to get one. She's going, no, no, no. And that's not going to make any difference.
Well, that's what takes it 10 on 10. Australia's no, Australia's back to 11. So Belgium down for the last. Well, she'll be back in with what, 1 minute and 10 to go.
Absolutely, as Paris plays on.
Paris
has been
skilled.
Just energy personified in this match. There's a little bit of niggle coming into this game. I think, as you said, Simon, Australia probably expected to win this game. But unfortunately, they've been made to battle really hard. They may still get the victory as they're into the deep. Into the corner. Bone trying to steal it for Australia. Helped down the side, brought down brilliantly by Versavel. Helps it down the line again. And really working hard was Anouk Reyes, or rather. Well, your vitality player of the match, Simon, have you managed to think about it?
I have, actually. It's one of those really difficult things because with 2¼ minutes, there could still be a moment that obviously influences the result of this game. However, if we stay where we are, I'm going to have to give it to a girl who influenced the whole first half, went quiet in the 3rd quarter, but then has come right back into it, which will be the Belgian number 19, Barbara Nayland.
And it is going to be a 16 as Paul Godoyne watches on from the side. Sure, he'll be a little bit frustrated. He would have wanted his team to make sure of a victory in this game. Just under 2 minutes left. Belgium want to get it forward. Their fans are urging them to get it up the pitch. And here is Nayland.
Sorry, actually, they've passed that ball into centre midfield so well the whole game. It's such a high-risk pass. But Nayland has managed to get herself into just enough of space to be able to carry it, dribble it, and break through the press. It's been high risk, but that's been one of the massive keys to their success.
And Nayland on the ball now. Can she make the difference in this match and get Belgium their first victory over Australia? Just gone over the baseline. Jodie Kenny calling for the ball, wants to get on with play quickly. Morgan flicks it high, missed by Hillevert, brought down by Malone. Malone cuts infield. That miss could be crucial. Malone, top of the circle to Herger. Great save and denies Paris and also denies Smith. Well, Aisling de Herger take a bow. A triple save in the final minute. Outstanding.
Well, the first save's ugly but effective. I thought she just played it into the path of the attacker. That's not a great bit of goalkeeping, but that is. It's that first block. She just leaves it in front of herself. She drops her knees down. That should, in all reality, for Paris, be a goal. But the goalkeeper did enough. Sometimes it's not about how, it's just about how effective.
And just encroaching was Versavel. Australia crack it forward. Good defence again from Pouvray. Given away. Belgium have it again, but I don't think there's going to be time to get that attack. And the hooter goes, and we have the first scoreless draw of the World Cup. Paul Godoy looks a little bit frustrated, but what a performance by Barbara Nayland. Australia disappointed. They are ranked higher in the rankings at 5th, Belgium at 13, but what a game. Whoever said 0-0 draws were boring? Aisling de Heuger, what a save right at the death to prevent Australia taking a victory. Belgium thoroughly deserved a share of the spoils. Rachel Lynch, was she had to make a couple of saves too. And has been an outstanding game. Australia 0, Belgium 0. Well, we've witnessed a really cracking game here as we now look at Pool D. Australia moved to the top, just that 1 point. Their last game will be against New Zealand. New Zealand and Japan. Well, Japan played Belgium, so if they can get a victory over Belgium, they're in the mix. There is so much more to play for to get that top spot in Pool D. And those games will be coming up on the 28th of July. 6 o'clock will be Japan versus Belgium, and 8 o'clock New Zealand versus Australia. They should be an absolute humdinger. More games coming up tomorrow, though, before then, and it's Germany versus Argentina. And then one that everyone's been waiting for, the United States versus England. As we now go down pitch side to Krista Cullen.
And I'm here with the Belgian captain, Anouk. Are you happy with the draw? Are you happy with what you've come away?
Of course, I'm happy. I think we drew against one of the top teams of the world, so it's really, really nice for us. We really fight till the end. We didn't let it go, so it's really important. Japan just won against New Zealand, so we knew a little bit that was really an important game today for us.
Absolutely, and there was a number of penalty corners against you. You know, that resilience in defence. Do you think that's more of the same as you think if you plan ahead in your pool?
Yeah, of course. It's perfect now. We know that we need to win against Japan to continue in this tournament. So it's nice because we're still inside. So it's really nice. We were really happy.
And then finally, now looking towards Japan, you know, you've got 4 days off. What are you planning on doing, resting and recuperating?
Yeah, I think with these 2 games we can relax a little bit more now. And of course we will debrief a little bit about this game and we check what we can do after against Japan to beat them and to finish really well in this pool.
Thanks very much and best of luck against Japan.
Thank you very much.